In this video, we're going to be replacing the exterior door handle on the driver's side of this 2005 Honda Element. So we're going to need to remove our door panel. To do that, we're going to need to remove this interior trim here for our mirror cover. We're just going to reach around to the inside, window side of this panel. Start at the top. If you can get your fingers behind here, just go ahead and pop it backwards. There's going to be one plastic push pin on the top that you're going to need to pop out, and these two bottom clips are just going to sit down in here. So we'll pop this out and set that aside. Next thing we're going to do is need to remove our door handle and power lock. We're going to open our handle, a small pocket screwdriver, and pop this cover off, and that'll give us access to these two small Phillips screws behind here. We need to remove those. So the top one you can get without the handle being open. Once you have those two removed, what we're going to do is take our handle assembly, slide it or lean it forward and up. That'll allow us to get to our electrical connection for our lock and unlock button and remove that connector. From here, on the back of this handle, there's going to be a rod connecting down to your latch. We're going to need to use a small pocket screwdriver or something that will allow you to remove the plastic retaining clip on that rod, and then pop the rod up and out of your handle. So here's that retaining clip. All right, so now that we're going to be doing a door handle, an exterior door handle, to gain access, there's going to be a couple of screws inside the door panel on the back of the handle. To gain access there, we're going to need to put our window up. That way when the door panel is off and disconnected, our window is up and out of the way. So behind here, right about here, you're going to have a metal retaining clip. We're going to get under here with the panel tool and release that retaining clip. Now you should be able to slide that piece right out. And here's that retaining clip. We're going to focus on the outside of the door panel all the way around. Make sure there are no other screws or anything else stopping the panel from coming off, and there aren't. So we're going to use a panel tool, and we're going to get between the door panel and the actual door frame itself, and we're going to pry outwards. We're going to take our panel tool, put it between the door panel and the door itself, and we're going to pry outwards. There are going to be some retaining clips that we're going to look or listen for them to pop out. Again, being careful around our already broken area. All right, so we're starting to relieve those clips. Once the speaker cover is off, you'll notice the door panel is still stuck. It's pretty loose all the way around except for this area here. So we're going to need to remove these three Phillips screws holding our speaker in. This is a delicate job here. If your Phillips screwdriver slips and punctures the speaker, you will potentially ruin the sound of the speaker. Ours is deteriorating, so we're going to try not to make it any worse. We're going to remove these three screws. Now your speaker is probably going to be held in by a couple of plastic tabs on the metal frame here. Let's go ahead and release the speaker. Now from here, because we are taking the door panel off, you're going to need to remove the electrical connection on your speaker. Just squeeze these tabs and remove or separate the plug. There we go. Now we can set our speaker aside. And now you'll notice our door panel is free. From here, what you're going to want to do is pull your door panel inwards and push up. From the bottom is going to be a metal retainer here that's going to clip up and over. You're going to want to push the door panel up and off of that. Once you have it to this point, what we're going to do is work on the inside, remove the electrical connections. So on the inside of our door panel, we have our harness going to our switches. We have 2 plugs. We're going to address the front one first. I'm just going to squeeze the tab and pull out our electrical connection. There we go, there's one. With your front one out, you have a little bit more room now to rotate this panel to get a little bit better grip on it. And remove your second plug. Now you can set your door panel aside. Before we move forward, now that you have your door panel off, before you go and dig inside here, what you want to do is look where your clips were holding your door panel on. You'll notice we have a few plastic clips still remain in the door itself. You want to take these out and put them back on the door panel. And in our case, this one up here is actually broken. A piece of the door panel, this plastic piece here, this gray plastic, stayed with the clip. So what you want to do is take these out of the door and put them back on the door panel best you can. We're going to have a couple issues. Our door panel is broken in a few different areas. Once you have those out and back on your door panel, we can move forward. Get behind this plastic weather seal here. To do that, we're going to need to pop this tab here out. We're just going to use a small pocket flat screwdriver or a panel tool, whatever you need to do just to remove this. Alright, sometimes these will fall out, sometimes they'll stay in, just don't lose it. And from here, you'll have some glue holding this weather covering in place. Just going to peel this back. We're actually just going to pull this right off of this here and continue to remove this. All right, that should be pretty good. If you need to go back further for access, you can. We'll leave it right about here. We're actually going to take our plastic, we're going to fold it over, reuse this glue, and just stick it out of our way over there. So behind here is going to be access to a 10mm bolt. We have access straight through here for one of them. The other is going to be behind here, so we're going to have to take this clear plastic sticker off. Now, if you can take this off to the point where you can reuse it, even better. So take your time. We're actually going to take this right off, and we're going to stick it to the window. So now that we have this plastic cover removed, we have access straight back to a 10mm bolt. We have access here to another 10mm bolt. These 10mm bolts are going to be holding in this metal backing plate, which basically squeeze your handle and the door panel together and hold it in place. So we'll remove this now. We'll also remove this one now. We're going to need to remove our lock cylinder. And to do that, there's a little metal retainer clip holding our lock cylinder into our door handle. So we're going to come in here with a small pick, see if we can pull that retainer clip off. With the pick tool, I came in from the side and worked this side of this clip down and just kept prying downwards, and eventually we were able to get this retaining clip down and off. So now that we have that clip off, we should be able to take our lock cylinder directly out along with this metal bracket. Now what we can do is grab a hold of our handle, angle it up and out. And we'll still have our rod attached to our latch. Now from here, you can use a number of tools. We're going to try a pick tool here and just pop open this plastic clip. There you go. You just want to separate the clip from that rod. Then you're going to want to push or pull, whichever direction you're working, that latch rod right out of that plastic retainer. We're going to attach our latch rod by pressing it into the clip. And it's going to click into place. All right, once you hear that click into place, we can swing the top over and lock that down. All right, so what we're going to do is lift our exterior handle into position, give it a little push, and now we can work on seating our lock cylinder in the metal bracket on the back, hold it into position. So now what we're going to do is put our metal bracket in place, but we're also going to, at the same time, take our lock cylinder and put it through the metal bracket. All right, once you get your lock cylinder through the metal bracket, then what you can do is put in a bolt on that metal bracket into your door handle. And the reason for doing this is it's going to hold your handle in place. Because what you're going to have to do is push your lock cylinder into the handle. You don't want the handle to pop out the front. Right, so now that you have both bolts installed, snugged up, finger tight, now what you can do is take your lock cylinder and push it into place. So you're going to have to slightly rotate it to get it to line up. Now there's a retaining clip on the handle portion itself, so you're going to have to put a little bit of pressure, a little force towards your handle to seat that in and get it past that clip. Once you feel like you've gotten it as far as it'll go in, go ahead and check the front, make sure that the lock cylinder is flush. Now that we have our lock cylinder in and we've checked the functionality, everything works as it should. We can now tighten down our 2 bolts holding in our door handle. So now that you have your handle in, we can take our access hole cover, put that back in place. And you want to do this, or at least cover this with something if yours fell apart, just to stop moisture from getting in through this hole here. We move this just for a little bit more access. We'll clip this back in. We can reposition our moisture cover here, a moisture barrier. We'll start by plugging in this corner, getting things repositioned, and stick it back down. All right, and we have one more little area here. We just want to tuck this in behind. Everything else looks good. There, you may or may not get this to stick back 100%. Do your best. Sometimes what you can do is just take a little bit of it, and knead it, and then reposition it in an area that won't stick. Once you're happy with that and everything looks like it's back to where it should be, reposition and put up your door panel. So now you just replace your missing clips. Again, ours was broken up here, but if you had any missing and you took them out of the door, now's when you want to put them in. And we can take this to the vehicle. We're going to plug in our electrical connections first. All right, so now we're going to connect our electrical connections. We're just going to plug them in. So we get a nice positive click. We have 2 connections here. And this plug here is going to go up to your door locks. So we're going to feed that through there. We're also going to feed our lock here through, center it up, push inward to the window and straight down. Okay, so once you are on this metal lip here, we can go ahead and start pushing our door panel back into the door. Start seating these clips all the way around. Again, we have to be careful down this area, it's broken. So I like to look around the side, visually line up my clips, and just follow them up with a good solid tap. All the way around the perimeter, give it a little tug. You should feel the door panel is tightly seated to the door. We can pull out our speaker cable and our speaker. Again, remember our speaker holds the panel to the door as well. We'll plug back in our speaker. Align the bracket. And our 3 Phillips screws holding in our speaker. Once your speaker is installed, put your cover on. Cover is going to go in on this side first. And push in the rest of your clips. Now we can move up to our interior door handle and our lock and unlock switch. You notice that our electrical connection for our lock and unlock fell behind. A lot of times you can reach in and pull it right back out. So we'll do that last. We're going to connect our handle rod first, and then from there we can put in our mirror cover. This is going to go in these bottom 2 tabs down in first. And then push that clip in. On this side, we're going to slide down into place and then push this clip in.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.